to the studio. It's October. It's the end of October.
The end of October. I can't even believe how
I can't either.
fast it's gone.
No, I can't either.
Yeah. And this is our 13th episode, I think.
Really?
Yeah. I think last month was the 12.
We didn't celebrate our anniversary?
No. No, we probably should have done.
Just like an old married couple. It goes
Yeah.
right past you. You don't even remember it was there.
Don't even notice. Yeah. Okay, so we've been doing the YouTube show for about a year.
That's awesome.
A little over a year. Yeah.
And I think, didn't you have your first experience at a fiber festival recently with someone saying, I know you from your show?
Yeah.
I've not had that experience yet.
Yes, that was exciting to see someone who said, I know you, but you don't know me because I watch your show. So, hi.
So
Hope
if you
you're
do
still
see
watching.
us and you watch our show, we love to know that you found us that way or that you like the show.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming up and telling us.
Yep. And if you're new, we are a natural dye studio in Fishers, Indiana. And we dye all of our yarn and fiber ourselves. We have a couple of helpers now. We have our yarn fairy, Sarah, and then we have two students, Ainsley and Reva, who help on weekends.
Students that are fiber artists. They're part of a
Yes.
spinning team at our local Living History Museum, Conner Prairie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's great having them
Yeah.
involved. Yeah, and so this show is a monthly studio show where we talk about what we're excited about, what we're working on, what's in our dye pots, and those sorts of things. So
Yeah, and like if you're interested in natural dyeing, you've probably found some other videos on YouTube or other places that are more instructions about natural dyeing. This is not really that, although we talk a little bit about that. And if you have questions about natural dyeing, we are very happy to answer those as well. So it's just wanted you to know what that's about and that we do welcome questions if you have them about any process in natural dyeing.
great. So what are you excited about, Linda?
Well, I do not want to be a Debbie Downer.
Uh-oh.
But when you ask me that, the first thing that comes to my mind is what I'm not excited about. I don't know.
Yeah.
Does that say something about my mental health? You're a psychologist.
It might, but or maybe not your mental health. Are you more of an optimist or a pessimist?
I'm usually an optimist.
Usually an optimist.
But I found it hard lately.
Yeah.
But we were disappointed, and I was personally disappointed, and Michelle was too. I think last month you heard we were going to SAF, the Southeastern Animal Fiber Festival, which we were really excited about because it's one of the larger regional festivals. It would have been the largest festival that we had ever been to as vendors. So we were really thrilled to be accepted and we're excited to go. But unfortunately, it is in Western North Carolina. And so Hurricane Helene, of course, did a number on that area just north of where the festival would be. And so the festival was canceled. I can only imagine, if we're disappointed not to go, for the folks actually living there and that put all the work into planning a festival and getting the vendors and doing the advertising and the marketing and getting the animals lined up to be there and the judging. And I mean, that's just so much work to have that all, go down the drain. So yeah, we feel bad, but our hearts go out to those folks, especially because to see your life's work as a fiber artist get swallowed up in a flood, or to really be dependent on that one festival for a big piece of your economy, and to have it go away, that's really hard on lots of people. So we do feel sorry for them, and that kind of, I think, weighs on me a little bit. Yeah. We did have a really fun fiber festival, though, since we last had our show. So maybe I'll move to the positive, because the Bloomington Fiber Festival, Bloomington Wool and Fiber Show, Bloomington Wool and Fiber Show, I think is what they called it.
Mm-hmm.
That was a first time show in Bloomington, Indiana, which, is a really, if you haven't been there, it's a very lovely college town set in the rolling hills, very beautiful. And Bloomington, Indiana University, main campus is in Bloomington, and they actually have a textile department. So it was really interesting because we had some people come through who really had a high knowledge of textiles and were very interested in our natural dyeing, and that was really exciting to talk to some folks who, are working on their masters in some kind of textile arts or something. Yeah. So that was really fun, and I would say for it being the first year, it was really a big festival. I would expect it to grow and be successful. There were lots of people there, lots of vendors. It was a really fun weekend. So that was maybe a high point. I can be excited about that.
Yeah, it was a fun Weekend, and the organizers, I think, did a really nice job.
Yeah, they did a nice job. Yeah. I brought something I was excited about too. So I haven't started knitting with this yet, but one of the things we were going to introduce at SAF was one of our new bases. We've been doing a collaboration with Hoof to Hanger Fiber Mill just over the state line in Michigan with Rick and Anna. And from them, we get a really lovely fingering merino yak silk base, which we have here dyed in our iris colorway, which is one of my favorites. And we were going to be launching that at SAF, so we'll be launching it instead next weekend.
Right.
A week from this coming Saturday, the 2nd of November, at Mass Ave. We're going to be doing a pop-up shop at Mass Ave Knits in Indianapolis, and also a dye class. So we'll get to show you this there, and I'm excited because I chose a pattern called the Winterview shawl, which was designed for a Verb for Keeping Warm, who is a very accomplished natural dye studio and yarn shop in Oakland, California. They designed it for their yarn crawl this year. So it's designed for a variegated one sock weight skein, and then a contrasting sort of pop of color with a mini. So we chose one of our sort of chartreuse green minis from Weld and put it with that iris color. So I'm really excited to start that project because I think it'll be fun, and it's always fun when you get to knit with a new base.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how it knits up. I love the iris colorway.
Yeah, me too.
Purples and greens together, so much fun.
Well, who knows? I might take a page out of your book and just start, even though I'm not done with other things, just for fun to see what it looks like. Michelle is known for that more than I am. So.
It's addictive when you start casting on new things before you're ready.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you excited about?
Well, so I'm going to start with a personal thing.
Oh, yes.
Yes. I'm excited that we have 2 upcoming weddings to prepare for. So our daughter Eleni and Joe got engaged a couple weeks ago. And then just 2 nights ago, the oldest son, we call him Big Max because we're a blended family and we have a younger Max and an older Max. So Big Max proposed to his girlfriend.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
so that just
exciting.
Happened.
So you have 2. So which wedding is happening first?
I don't know for sure because Max just proposed to Hannah.
Mm-hmm.
It was at her birthday celebration, which was really sweet.
Yeah.
So because it just happened, we didn't ask all the details
Right.
about. But I think theirs might be first because Eleni and Joe are looking at venues, and I think that's going to be June 2026.
Okay.
So
that is
a year and a half from now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving into a new phase of parenting.
Yeah.
I mean, you have one who's married.
I have one who's married.
Yeah.
Yes. It is a new phase. It's really fun though. Because I feel like it's like getting another child that you didn't have to parent. You don't have all the back history with. So that can be really fun.
Yeah.
And we love doing things with them, sort of as couples. Like sometimes we'll do like a double date kind of thing and go out with them, or like Father's Day, took Mac out for brunch, and then we all rode like scooters to go duck pin bowling. You know, it was like things Mac and I would not do on our own, but like because we're like on a date with them, we do.
Yeah,
so
then
it's
you can
fun.
do neat
Yeah.
things. Yeah. Now neither of them live near
Right,
here,
yours don't.
so
Yes, you'll have to go visit them and do fun things.
and do the fun things. That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm very excited for both of them.
And my advice is start early on finding your mother of the bride dress.
Oh.
Now you have a sad look on your face.
I do not like shopping for clothes.
I know. I'm not a big clothes shopper
Oh.
either. And then it was hard to find for me. Like I didn't want something that looked dumpy, you know,
Yeah.
and kind of old. But I also didn't want to look like I was trying to look like the bride. So I didn't want anything like low cut or, you know, too slinky. So I felt like it was hard for me to find that middle ground.
Yeah.
With something I did eventually find something I was happy with.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Thank
Yeah.
you. But yeah, I felt like that was a challenge. So I would just say, as soon as you know the color scheme, start looking around. Yeah,
Okay.
start looking around.
All right. Well, that gives me something else to worry about.
To not be excited about.
Yeah. Okay.
But you could make yourself a beautiful like wedding shawl to put over it or something.
Yeah. That would be pretty.
Some people knit their wedding dresses.
I have seen that.
Yeah.
I know. I don't think Eleni will be doing that.
No,
She is a knitter.
She is a knitter. I could see her making a shawl for her wedding or something.
Yeah. I love those shawls. Have you seen the ones where they you put your hands in them and they wrap around?
Like especially if it's a winter time or a fall wedding or something.
Yeah, I think
cold.
those are beautiful.
Those are really pretty.
Yeah, but she'll have a June wedding. So
yeah, she won't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Well, that is exciting.
So, yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
Are you excited about anything in the studio?
Yes, well, of course.
You're always excited about something in the studio.
Yeah, lots of things related to color. So, actually, I think I did tell you about this. I got my colors done.
Oh, I saw the post.
You saw
we
the
haven't
post.
talked about it, but
Okay.
I saw the post.
Yeah, so I had heard about that for quite a while. So what colors look good with your skin tones and your hair color and your eyes. And so I finally just bit the bullet and tried it. And it was so much fun. So she talked to me a little bit about color theory and
was it similar to like, because in our classes we talk a little bit about color theory.
Yeah, she didn't go into a lot of detail because I did already have some knowledge, you know, with the dyeing, and I told her about what we do. But really think they do the 4 seasons of the year, but also kind of blends of those. And they put the different cloths on you, drapes. And so you're in a special lighting and everything else around you is gray and you don't wear makeup and no jewelry. And then they put the drapes on you and you can see, like, does this make you look sallow?
Was it like right away, like easy to tell? Or were there some where you were like, I'm not sure if I like that or not?
Yeah, there were some like that. But there were clearly some that were, oh, that's not good for me.
And was any of that a surprise to you? Like, were there colors that you thought you liked and looked good on you and you might have chosen, but now you're like, I'm going to steer away from that?
Not a big surprise. And I did think about that later, that I have looked at myself in the mirror with different clothes on for 58 years.
Right.
And so you kind of develop like a sense of this looks good on me or it
Right.
doesn't.
Right.
And so some of the colors are clearly ones I would have known.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a soft autumn, so there's not a big contrast between my hair color and my skin and my eyes, so that is part of it. But also I have some yellow warm tones to my skin. So she was suggesting don't wear solid black. that I would be better in kind of a heathered gray,
Mm-hmm.
or not to wear black mascara,
Mm-hmm.
but wear kind of the deeper browns
Mhm.
would look better.
Mhm.
And so those were new things
Okay.
for me. And there are some colors that I just like there is a fuchsia shirt
Mm-hmm.
that I feel happy wearing. It's not in my color scheme.
Mm-hmm.
I'll still probably wear it,
Mm-hmm.
but not all the time.
And there's
you know.
probably colors that are way off, and then some that are like, well, you can probably get by with this.
Yeah.
That's what I would guess. I've never done that either. It would be
Yeah.
fun. I also think that the older I get, my hair color especially starts to change because I
Yeah.
don't color my hair. And so then I feel like what I used to know about my colors maybe
Might
is
change
different.
as we're getting
So,
grayer and
Yeah,
lighter.
I feel like my hair is getting darker. And
Oh,
some-
darker.
Well, just that some of it, what probably the reason it looks darker is that what was blonde is becoming gray. And so the darker
Ah.
undertones in my hair are what I see more now. This is what I think.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Well, that's
So-
fun.
So that was fun. And then related to that, it was kind of interesting. All this happened at a similar time. I went to the Knitting Guild.
Mhm.
So our local Knitting Guild is doing a group project. So we got together last month to talk about color theory and choosing colors for projects. And then this month we're going to be knitting a hat together, a colorwork hat. And it is going to be this Gentle Rain hat by Telly Bean Knits.
It's such a cute pattern. And
yeah.
there's a sweater
And a sweater
that's that same pattern, right?
right. And
Gentle Rain sweater.
Yeah, she's an Indiana designer.
Right.
So that's
I did not know that
Yeah.
until you told me that.
yeah. So that's fun too. So I went to that class or that Knitting Guild meeting, and we did a little exercise where we colored in the coloring book page for this pattern to see what colors we might want to use. So that got me thinking that our Cormo yarn and our pure merino in kind of the bigger weights like worsted weight and DK would be fun to make into these little cuties.
Little cuties.
So
Because
they're like
often,
mini
even if
skeins.
it's a yoke of a sweater, you don't need that much.
Yeah.
So
And
it's nice to be able, as a shopper, to be able to purchase a smaller quantity so you don't have quite as much money invested in your
Yeah.
sweater or your hat.
Yeah. And especially for our local Cormo,
Mm-hmm.
it's expensive. I
It's
mean, we talked
expensive.
about that last.
And we don't
time.
have a ton of it. You know, it's not like we can have
a sweater quantity
for
and multiple
everyone. Right, we're
colors.
buying
Yeah.
from a local farmer and she only has so many Cormo sheep and we don't get all of her fleeces because she has to sell
She
some to
sells.
someone else. So yeah, there's not an unlimited supply.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great idea to make smaller skeins specifically for color work.
So that's what I've been excited about, and thinking about what colors might go together. And for
We kind of looked at colors we already had, like skeins where we had several and we could maybe divide it
yeah,
into 2 or 3 mini skeins.
so we did that, and
And some
then
new.
we dyed a few extra.
Of course.
So this is with our fresh indigo.
hmm That looks like the color for our Indiana Dunes hat.
Yes,
Yeah, which is
It
right
is
behind us.
up there somewhere. Yes,
I think I had that as my finished object last month. Yeah.
Last month you were wearing that. So, so we have fresh indigo, and we'll talk a little bit about fresh indigo later. And then we dyed some other colors that might be fun color pops
Mm-hmm.
that you would want to put in. So that is what I have been excited about in the studio lately.
Fun. I'm excited about it too, and I can't wait to see all the hats that the Knitting Guild is making out of the same pattern. That'll be really fun to see all the different color combinations that people choose out of the same pattern.
Yeah, I think that will
I
be
think that'll
fun.
be neat. You mentioned fresh indigo.
Right?
That is something that has been in our dye pots a lot lately.
Yeah.
Because it's the end of October and it still hasn't really frosted hard here.
No,
we had a couple nights where we had to cover the indigo up, but it's still kind of producing. So we've been trying to eke out as much fresh indigo color as we can. It's hard to have enough to do a big bunch now. We had a class last month that was really fun. We'll probably try to do that again next year, but it's likely to only be a once a year class. If you're interested, make sure you keep an eye out for that, probably in September. But that class, we used quite a bit of indigo and everybody got to dye their own skein with fresh indigo. And then we've just been dyeing 1 or 2 skeins or some fiber, just, a little bit at a time, so to use up that last indigo.
Yeah. Last week, every morning, I would come in and do just a little bit. And then last weekend, when we had Reva and Ainsley here, they helped. So we might actually be able to get 1 or 2 more skeins.
1 or 2?
Yeah.
Then the question is always, what base are we going to do it in?
I know. Maybe we should do the minis, so then you could get 5.
5 minis out of 1. Yeah. Or do we need more of our cuties?
Our cuties.
Yeah.
Maybe, because that blue color is so much fun.
Yeah, it's a really nice blue color.
Yeah.
We do still have some mini sets of Summer by the Lake, which uses fresh indigo. So we've got some of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always hard when you have just a little bit of dye material left and you try to think what is going to be the perfect way to use it.
Yeah.
That's maybe one big difference about natural dyes, especially something like indigo, which here we can only grow it in the summer. So it is very seasonal. We have to use it when we have it, and then when it's gone, it's gone. We can do an indigo vat, but that gives you different colors of blue. It doesn't give the same kind of turquoisey blues that you can get out of the fresh indigo.
Yeah.
So that's been in our dye pots a lot.
Working on some cranberry and some different greens. Yeah. So
trying to get those just right. And,
yes.
And on the different bases, kind of like we showed in our video last month. The same recipe on superwash versus non-superwash, on something with silk in it. It looks enough different that you kind of want to know if you need to tweak the recipe a little bit for the given base.
Right. So I was doing one I was going to call Holly Berry. Not Halle Berry.
Not Halle Berry.
Halle Berry. As soon as I said that, I was like, boy, that sounds familiar. Okay, so Holly Berry that would have red and green kind of variegated. And I tried it on a merino silk and it came out pink and gray. Instead of red and green.
And on the merino cashmere nylon, superwash merino, it comes out green and
mostly red.
Mostly
like a little sort of, fuchsia.
Yeah, but sort of a scarlet-y kind of
scarlet color, right?
Yeah.
So this weekend I have some of the mini skeins, like test skeins that we made out of the merino silk, so that I'll try it again. And see, we got a beautiful cardinal red when we did immersion dyeing. So I know the red is possible.
Right.
But to make it in the right concentration so that when we hand paint it, it gets that red,
Right.
it's a different story.
It is
so
different, yeah.
it takes a little bit of testing and
Yeah.
trying out.
I guess that's one good thing right now, and again, maybe a sort of hidden blessing not going to SAF, is we did end up with a little bit of time to maybe sit back and plan and do some more testing, and that does feel good to do that, to not be go all the time. We are gone a lot in November next month. We have something almost every weekend.
Right. Every weekend we do. But it was nice to be able to clean up the studio a little bit, work on our recipe cards. Yeah. So I do feel in a better place in terms of planning and knowing what we are going to do next.
Yeah. So if you're in the Indianapolis area, there are several places where you'll be able to find us in November, Saturdays in November, around different places. So just check out our events page on our website to look at that.
Yep.
And have you been finding time to knit as well?
Yes, I have been knitting a lot. Well, do you want to do the work in progress stuff now?
Sure.
Okay.
What are you working on?
So what I am working on now, I started with the gentle rain hat, so I am working on that. And I thought I brought over the right size needle, because now I have to switch after the ribbing.
From the ribbing.
But I did not. So I have to get the right size needle. So
what size are you using with the DK and the Carmel worsted?
This is a 4, and then the base part I'm going to use is 6. Right. I did start it last night.
I think that's what I used on the Indiana Jones.
4 and 6?
Yeah.
Okay. I did start it last night with 5, and it was too big. So then I went down, I subtracted the number and did a smaller size, put it on my head, and it would give me a headache.
Oh,
So I thought, okay. And this is me not.
So instead of going like from a medium to a small, you stayed with the medium, but you went down one size.
I went down one size on the needles.
Yeah.
Because I thought I wanted it to be springier for the ribbing, but not too tight. So that is what I'm using.
Nice.
Yeah. And this hat is meant to be sort of a swatch for the sweater. If you were going to make the gentle rain sweater, you can do the hat, and that's your swatch. But because we don't have a lot of Cormo, I didn't want to do a real swatch with the colors and then not be able to reuse them because it's stranded color. Yeah. So that's why I didn't swatch, but I think this.
So are those the 4 colors for your hat?
Yes. So I have the fresh indigo, and this has lac and just a little bit of logwood.
That's a nice purple.
Yeah, and then this is a pine green. And I'm making it for someone who probably isn't watching this.
I thought you were making it for yourself.
No, I may make one for me next.
Okay.
But I'm making it for someone else who told me they liked blues and purples and greens.
Okay.
So I thought, why not?
That'll be really pretty.
Yeah.
Was it hard to pick which color in which motif of the hat?
A little bit. I mean, her design has a coloring page that you can put in, and then she also has the chart in grayscale, so you can say, oh, I'm going to use my 2 highest contrast for this and this, and then the 2 middle contrast medium for the others. So that is helpful to see. I did have a little bit of maybe a challenge. I wouldn't say it was difficult, but it was kind of challenging to think about. We have several blue grays, we have 2 purples, we have a bunch of green. What would be the best ones together?
Yeah, right.
And so that was kind of fun too. So what I did was I took different pictures of them together and then looked at them in black and white.
Mm-hmm.
And I can show a little bit of that process.
Just to make
the
sure that
viewers.
that your high contrasts were really different enough.
Right.
Yeah.
I did start it the other day with a different color, and when I got to the part where there's like two little colors on top of each other, I couldn't tell the difference between them.
Oh,
like looking at them at arm's
From
length,
farther away.
they looked pretty similar.
Yeah.
So I didn't have high enough contrast.
Right.
Yeah. So one kind of hat that I wanted to do is for Ruth to use just from her Cormo, and I think this would be pretty with the undyed. It's a little darker than this, but I think she might also like purple. I really like that. Okay, gonna do the black and white picture. So that is one thing that is on my needles. And then the other thing is another Knitting Danny. And this is the Snow Glimmer sweater. And I'm doing this in pure merino. It's a DK weight. And it looks kind of open and funny now, but what happens is I will be picking up around here and making this crossed over like shawl collar.
Oh, a shawl collar. I've never done one of those.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun.
I think it will be, and with this
So
softness,
picking up stitches and then making like an extra flap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she shows it like in different, different samples that she's done with different yarns, and I'm doing the striped one.
So it's a bottom. Oh no.
No, it's top down. It's top down, and then I'll pick up around the collar and then the sleeves. So that is it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's going to be beautiful.
I'm excited. Thanks. And now that I'm at the stripey part, it's fun. It's easy knitting. I don't have to look at what I'm doing, but I can look forward to a color change.
Right.
So it's not just interminable.
Yeah, right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I understand that because I am also knitting a striped sweater.
I know, we're going to look so cute
We
together.
are going to look cute together. This is the Stripe Hype sweater. And it is usually shown in most of the projects, if you go on Ravelry, is with a white background. But there were a couple of projects that either used like a dark gray or a blue background. And I really was drawn to those. So I decided to do it with a blue background.
I love that.
And
it's so fun.
I just wanted the colors to be fun. Yeah, so this is our pure merino sport weight. So it's a little bit lighter weight than the one you're doing. And it has a drop shoulder construction. So you knit the back panel first, and then you picked up stitches and knit down to the front and then joined it. And then I will pick up stitches for the sleeves next, because I'm down at the ribbing for the bottom already. So it drops down, you pick up stitches for around your sleeve and go down. And then there's another 3 stripes of color in the upper arm and 3 in the lower arm. So would you like to see what I have chosen?
Yes.
Okay. upper arm stripe is going to be this silvery gray.
Oh, nice.
Up here.
Uh-huh.
And then the lower arm stripe is going to be this bright yellow. And I was a little concerned that it was maybe too bright. But then, when I looked at it in a small stripe, maybe it'll be okay. It won't be too bright compared to the other colors.
I don't know if that'll show up on the
I don't know.
screen. Maybe we should hold it up.
I can hold it up and see. Yeah. These two.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. If you have an opinion, drop it in the comments.
Yeah.
Because what I'm thinking about doing, it won't take very much. So I'm thinking about splitting this skein, which was dyed with marigolds and is very happy. It does make me happy to look at this color.
Mm-hmm.
But I could take half of the skein and over dye it with a very light brown, something to kind of tone it down just a little bit, like a little tiny bit of walnut or a little bit of kutch or something to tone that yellow back a little. And then I could pick whichever one I wanted, since it really won't take too much to do those 3 stripes on each forearm of the sweater. Yeah, but I'm liking the construction. I had not done a drop shoulder sweater before, so I thought that was fun. And then you pick up stitches for the neck, and then at the neck and at the wrists, you finish with a little color too, so I can pick which color I want to use to accent the wrists and the neck.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this will have the dark color.
The dark.
At the sleeve edge and around the neck too.
So that'll be fun. But that has been fun knitting, and it has been going fast. Like you said, you want to see what the next stripe looks like, and so you're kind of anxious to get
Yeah.
to
Do you
keep
know
going.
what color you're gonna do at the edge?
I was thinking that at the neckline I would do green, because green is my favorite.
Yeah.
And it's down here, sort of in the middle of the sweater. And then at the wrist, I'll have the gray and I'll have the yellow stripes down here. So I was thinking I would do the orange stripe at the wrist, which is the part up here.
Yeah.
Just for some contrast.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking. The other thing
Cute.
you could do is you could do the same color stripe everywhere. Like you could do the green edging everywhere.
Yeah.
And I might do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that has been fun.
That came together pretty quickly, I think.
It did. Yeah. It's been a fast knit, good pattern. It's really clear. I like that. It's the instructions are very straightforward, and yeah. So that's been good. And while I was waiting to dye all my yarn, this is the problem when you have a natural dye studio, is you want to make a sweater and then you're like, oh crap, I have to dye all that yarn.
Yeah, and wash it.
And then you have to, it's not like I have to just pick it out. It's like I have to dye it the color that I have in my mind.
That's right.
So sometimes that leads to a long delay between choosing a pattern and actually being able to knit.
Yeah.
So that was happening. So I decided to do another popple bandana. This is not totally with our Color Me Happy yarn. I had some really lovely Malabrigo Arroyo in my stash, which is a sport weight yarn. The popple bandana is a fingering weight pattern, but I thought it's going to be fine if I do it in a sport weight. And then I used some leftover Surrey silk that we had naturally dyed, and I used it in a vest project last year for the little scallop. So I have been working on that, and these are, I don't know, I've never had my colors done, but like I love these colors. These colors make me happy.
They look good on you, I think.
Yeah, thanks.
Very
so
pretty.
Yeah, I've been just doing that. This is kind of sometimes like I will take this project to work, like it's easier, it's smaller, I can sort of carry it around places, or if we're going out or something, and it's not quite as big as the sweater to carry around, so it is nice to have that as an extra project I can work on when I want to.
Yeah, a smaller thing.
Yeah.
This is starting to get to be large enough that it's harder. I can do it in a car.
Right.
But
yeah, it's a little harder if you're like out and not trying to be obtrusive. I was at the theater last weekend because my husband is in that's another thing I'm excited about, is he's going to be done this weekend. We've had a lot of theater. We've had a lot of community theater this fall. So I was at the show and I was knitting, and it was dark, but it was just knitting in the round, so it was easy enough to do without it being very bright. But I did feel like I was glad that I wasn't like crowded in, because I was kind of like having to work my sweater around, and it took up a lot of room. So yeah, so that's what I am working on. I think those are the only things that I'm working on. I think you have something finished.
I do.
That you're wearing.
I do. It's that kimono cardigan.
I think you talked about that last week.
I did.
Or
last month, because I was working on the sleeves then,
right.
I think. So this is it.
It is so pretty. The fabric is so pretty. I don't know how well it'll show up on camera, how it's so marled.
Yeah.
It's really lovely.
I can put a close up in there.
Yeah, it's really a pretty fabric.
It is the softest. I mean, it's silk and Surrey silk together. But it's really light and soft, and the design of it just lays so nicely on you that it just
I like the detail
like,
in the back where it's kind of a split collar in the back.
Yeah. It's just such a nice
that's
feeling.
really
it's
nice.
light on you, but snuggly. So there's the back.
Yeah, we had this
Which
up
is
in our
nice.
booth in Bloomington, and everyone was going over to it. Just, I think the fabric is just so beautiful, and people wanted to touch it and wear it. And so that led to, well, you can tell the story. Because this
everyone's
pattern,
asking,
oh, what did you use to make
What is
that?
the pattern?
What is
And
the
it's-
pattern? And we had two problems there. One
So-
problem is that not all of the yarn is yarn that we sell.
so we couldn't sell.
We couldn't sell them the yarn to make the
the
sweater.
silk part,
The
but
silk is from Ito.
yeah, Kinu, I think is the name of it. And I'll put it in the show notes. So Danny is German and German speaking, and wrote that pattern in German, and I loved her pictures. She has so much joy in her pictures. She just looks so cute and happy, and so it was the pictures that drew me in, and I knew I wanted a little wrap kind of light thing. So I did the Google Translate for it, and it worked out okay. But now we're working with
My son's partner
Jules.
who's fluent in German, and they grew up speaking German with their mother, who is a native German speaker, and they still travel to Germany. So Jules is helping us translate the pattern into English from
into
German.
English, right?
Yeah.
For
So
Danny.
that's exciting.
So hopefully in the next month or so, that might be available in English. So I know people around here anyway were really excited.
Not everyone
to
is
see that.
as adventurous as you are into just saying, I'm going to buy that pattern even though it's not in English, and use Google Translate.
That's right. But her instructions are so clear and easy to follow. And the sweater I'm making now does come in an English version.
Oh, nice. Because that's
So-
one of her sweaters also.
Right. This is one of her sweaters too.
Nice.
So, it just, she lays things out very clearly. So it's easy to follow, even in a different language.
Yeah. One small thing that I think also was on the needles last time, but I finished our shop sample for the bubble bandana from Stephen West. A very fun pattern. So this was illustrating something you could do with a holiday mini set. So 5 mini skeins of merino cashmere nylon. This is in our holiday colorway called
Deck the Halls.
Deck the Halls. Right. Deck the Halls. And it's a really fun, so it was fast. The bubble stitch is fun.
And if you watched last month, you might remember this was actually my work in progress. Linda saved me because I had too many works in progress, and you were needing a new project.
I needed a new project because I hadn't finished dyeing yarn for my sweater.
That's right.
So, So this was fun, and I think it's a really nice length. Like you know, you can do it loose, you can do it tighter and make a little festive
Oh, yeah, how
tie
cute.
with your jacket. So I think this is a really fun pattern. I will say that I haven't even checked to see if this has been fixed, but I found an error in the pattern, and some other people had found it too, and it had not been corrected, but I got an email via Ravelry, a message that they are correcting it.
Oh, good.
So hopefully if you're interested in this pattern and you look at it, you'll see that there's been an errata, and it was not a major error. I think most people would have realized, oh, they made a mistake there, but just in case, that is getting fixed. Yeah.
Yeah, that came
So
out
that
really
is
cute.
my finished object. Yeah, I like it. It's a fun little design.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So I'll have to decide if I'm going to be like you and cast on again this weekend. I might just cast on with this. I'm anxious to see what it looks like knit up as well. We don't have a swatch of this.
Right.
And people often, you know,
They want
a
to
swatch. They want, especially the variegated yarns, to see what it looks like.
Yeah. How's it gonna knit up when you're done?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that's all my projects.
I
and
think
yours.
that's all of mine as well. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we've been busy kind of getting things back in the groove in the studio. So that's taken some time too.
Yeah. All right.
And now we'll be busy going out and doing some fun events.
Yeah, the pre-holiday rush.
Pre-holiday rush. That's right. And then we're both happy to get to December, because I don't think we maybe have one event in December, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then we'll be able to settle down.
Yeah. And work on spring colors.
Right. Not until after the new year, maybe. We'll
Yeah,
get a little bit
I
of
will
break.
take a little break. That is definitely true. Well, let us know what you are working on, what's in your project bag, and what
You have questions, or if you need ideas for holiday gifts, we have lots of ideas. We have some really nice kit examples and just pattern ideas for things that are quick and cute to make as a
like
gift.
your popple bandana.
Like the popple bandana, or so feel free to ask us those kinds of questions too, and we hope we get to see you soon at an upcoming event or online.